The firing pin is filed down, right? Mag full of dummy rounds. If I pull the trigger, nothing happens.
You're absolutely right. Why would we give a loaded weapon to an infamous hitman? Go ahead, pull the trigger. Empty it.
Don't empty nothing. You don't even know this lady. I've known you like 9 months. Remember when I brought you that cookie? That was a real cookie. What?
Oops. Y'all jokers must be crazy. Now you know what you're buying. Let me tell you the price. First, I want out of here. Second, I want full custody of my daughter. All right? And her mom can have, like, supervised visits, but her stank-ass boyfriend can't come. Donnell can't come.
Darnell's out.
He's out. Third, y'all gonna pay for my daughter's whole education, best schools. And then I want her to go to college, like Harvard or Yale.
Ivy League.
Ivy League, yeah, one of them big joints, you know? And if she can't cut it and her grades start slipping, I need you to white people that thing. You know how y'all do.
Oh, yeah.
You all right? Okay. Now, that's my price, but I'm concerned because I don't see nobody writing shit down.
You're in no position to make any demands.
Oh, I'm sorry. You thought I was talking to you. No, Aaron boy. I'm talking to your boss. That's my price, sweetie. You know what it is.
Yeah, like, you remember the episode of The Office where, like, everybody showed up to the Halloween party dressed as the Joker? Like, yes, anybody can be the Joker, huh? Wanna see how I got these scars? Wanna see how I got these metal teeth?
You wanna
see how I got these tattoos? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Tully Television. And we are
TT.
back. TT. We are back here with Jordan and
Professor Tully. Captain Toltol.
Captain
Whatever you
Toltol.
want to call him this week.
Whatever tickles your pickle, so to speak.
But we're here with the special segment known as Everybody's a Critic. Because literally everybody's a critic. And right now we're going to be talking about probably the most controversial movie of all time. All time. Alright?
And that is obviously Summer School. No.
Obviously. I was going to say Diary of a Wimpy Kid. But
Diary of a Wimpy
anyway, what we're going to need you to do is, do the whole like and subscribe thing. Tully Television.
Like, share, subscribe.
We do this whenever we feel like it. We don't have a specific schedule. Stay tuned for our giveaway. We're going to be giving away a used pencil, number 2.
A number 2.
You can use it on many tests. It has to be graphite, not lead.
Oh, okay.
But should we get into this, or what do you want to do?
We should get into this. We should get into this video's topic, Suicide Squad.
We have to be specific right now. This is the David Ayer version of Suicide Squad, but technically it isn't because it's well known that the studio, the Warner Brothers Studios, took control of this movie and made it something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get more into that a little bit later, but I just want to say, for all intent and purposes, we're going to call it David Ayer's Suicide Squad, not to be confused with The Suicide Squad, which from the time of this recording comes out in like less than a week.
Yeah.
What we're really excited for. So
we're
going to be covering that.
Be checking
definitely.
that out.
I'm going to be checking that out.
It looks good.
So anyway, it's a 2016 movie, so it's not new. So spoilers, obviously. If you didn't see it by now, I'm not telling you to rush out to go see it, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
If you didn't see it by now, and you're clicking on this video, what are you doing?
But anyway, so, and it just works out too, because I'm looking at my notes as I read this, and a couple days before I had a couple days after I had the idea to do this video, because of the fact that the new Suicide Squad was coming out on Friday, excuse me, they did all the reviews for the Suicide Squad, like they're out now, like the critic
Yeah.
reviews. So people were blasting David Ayer, saying like, "Oh, what happened to your movie? Oh, what happened to the Ayer cut?" Because, Zack Snyder got the
The
Snyder
Justice
cut
League,
put out, even though they said it didn't exist. He's like, "No, it does exist."
and it came, and it was wonderful.
It was a better movie than the original movie.
cut. Yeah.
It was a little long, and a lot of stuff could have still been cut, but still overall it was a way better film. So
Yeah.
the same thing could be said about this, but in research for this video, because I read the letter that he put on Reddit, not Reddit, I'm sorry, Twitter, to where he goes in about stuff that happened in his life, and then like the movie, and like how he put that into the movie and all this other stuff.
Right.
I'm not gonna go into it. You can read it yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
But basically, he said, "Oh, let's not talk about my version anymore. I'm not going to publicly speak about it anymore. Congratulations to James Gunn. I wish you the best. Like, saying like, I want your movie to shine. Like, let's just
Right.
ignore it for now." But I did in my research. I went back to the first trailer, the Comic-Con trailer.
Yeah.
Before the trailer that people more likely know that had Bohemian Rhapsody in the background.
Yeah.
It had shots of all like the main beats of the movie.
Right.
And there was no music. It was like an original score. So like that was one of the biggest things in it, is that, and it's one of the people's biggest complaints about this movie itself, is the fact that there was music every single scene.
Oh, okay.
That's because when they got it, it was sent to when the studio executives like turned down his original version because they wanted more Deadpool and more Guardians of the Galaxy. They wanted to be more colorful and all that,
Right.
because the Batman versus Superman complaints came, and so he didn't have final
more
say.
color, yeah, more colorful.
Yeah. So in the first trailer, it has like all those beats, but it's like to a it's like an original score, like no famous song. And then the end, when it has the Suicide Squad logo, like it was in stone, like there was no color behind it.
Right. Right.
And but my main point from this is like it had all the same beats. So like the only thing that I saw that was different from the movie
Yeah.
was the fact that there was more Joker in it, because it's supposed to be more of the Joker-Harley abusive relationship, as opposed to how in this movie they're a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right. Right.
And the third act was going to be completely different, which I feel like I really want to see this. If anything else, I wanted to see this. It actually was supposed to tie into Justice League, because Enchantress makes a deal with Joker in the third act, because he, even in the previews, he came back with like his face scarred,
Right.
and he had the grenade. And you would assume that happened after the helicopter crash, and everybody was waiting for that.
Right.
What really happened, I guess, in his cut from what they say, is that he teams up with Enchantress. He comes back, with his face all scarred up, and like he makes a deal with him, like, "Oh, I'll help you defeat them so you can rule the world, but you have to give me Gotham and make Harley my slave," or whatever.
Right.
And then it comes to find out in the end that Steppenwolf was actually controlling her from the mother boxes.
That would have been more interesting.
And it ties into Justice League, and then I guess like maybe it's a post-credit scene. They take control of like the power plant or whatever it was.
Right.
And those little blob monsters that they're fighting, the cannon fodder, as I call them every time I watch it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what they are. They were supposed to be parademons.
Okay, alright. Speaking of Jared Leto Joker real quick, I was disappointed.
Get all that out the way before we
I was
get into
disappointed.
the actual thing, because, go ahead.
I was disappointed because I am a Jared Leto fan. I also am a big time Joker fan. I thought that this would be a great combo, but I was somewhat disappointed with that.
And you know what? I'm going to get into that. But first, let's get into the casting, shall we? This stars Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Jared Leto, Viola Davis, Jai Courtney, Ben Affleck's stunt double, David Harbour, yes, the Red Guardian was in this movie, and the rapper Common, among others.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was poorly received by fans. Like, I don't know why, because even when I first watched it, I mean, I do know why. I figured out why people wouldn't like it, but when I go into watching movies, I don't just watch it as like a comic book fan. I go into it as like a general moviegoer, because like when I go see a movie, I want to turn my brain off and enjoy a movie. Yes, I did notice that there was a lot of music in it, but I did like when they introduced all the characters.
Yes.
Like, you kind of like, if you play the music behind that, it shows who those characters are. Like, we'll go into like the club scene with like Harley and Joker.
Right.
They played Rick James Super Freak, and then you saw Harley dancing to it. All right, that fits with the character. Like, okay, I know like who this character is. Or then like with Deadshot, like they had an Action Bronson song playing in the background. It's like, oh, it's hip hop, all right. Like he's a guy from the streets or something like that.
Right,
like,
right.
That's how I view it, like how they do it. Like it's
I
like
catch
background
you.
music. Like that's who I want. Like that song represents who you are. But then when they started
Right.
playing like everything when they were getting dressed, they played the Eminem song and then
Yeah, it was almost like there's too many intros.
yeah, and then the biggest thing too, what I said, it could have easily started with Amanda Waller, Viola Davis walking into that restaurant and explaining what Task Force X is. Just get straight into it. There was no reason to have Deadshot and Harley in the prison and then you show them again.
Right. Yeah.
When you read down their files,
you can
so they don't make eyes.
You can tell where some of these breakdowns with the storytelling and the direction comes in at certain.
But my thing is, the scene where Harley licked the bar in the cell, and when she was doing the acrobatic stuff in the beginning, like when she was on the ropes, that was in the original trailer. So that was in the original movie. I don't know in what capacity, but the dude, there wasn't as many jokes in it. So I kind of feel like maybe the other guy was reshot into it, the guy who was from Mad TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I said I really want to see. I do want to see the Ayer cut.
Yeah, it would be interesting. And she was doing similar things, hanging off the helicopter at the end too.
Well, yeah, because the helicopter scene,
hanging
with that, they said in his cut that because I guess he was jealous of the Deadshot, little budding relationship thing, so he actually pushed her out the helicopter before it got shot down or something like that. But again,
all right.
we're not gonna get too much. I don't want to get into too much of that. I want to get the actual movie that was put in. But anyway, so I had all that music in it, but you can't lie though, it was a good soundtrack. There was a lot of good songs in it.
I was gonna say,
too many thrown at me non-stop.
All my friends are heathens.
I hated that song though. That was the only song in that movie that I freaking hated.
It got played out really quickly when that song first came out.
At the end when they played Bohemian Rhapsody though, and they had all of them back in their cells with like what they asked for.
Yeah.
I kind of do like that because that song is just so all over the place, and it's like all right, that explains who these people are now. Like
as a group, yeah, you could tell that they did form a bond near the end of the movie.
That's another thing we have to talk about. The whole thing with like, they should have bonded more, okay, because they were trying to copy like Guardians of the Galaxy. I seen when I watched this movie a lot of scenes that like I could tell were in the original version, other scenes I feel like that were added in. A scene that I thought that was added in, I really thought they just used this for the marketing, like it was one of the reshoots. Obviously, you could tell it is. Yeah. When they're walking out of the building, when they fought like the bubbly eye monster things, and Harley breaks the window and steals the purse.
Yeah.
That scene was obviously a reshoot. It didn't belong in the movie. It didn't need to be there.
No.
But then the bar scene, like I was saying, when you build their relationship, that was like the most emotional scene of the movie, and like everybody's like talking to each other on an emotional level. And you see El Diablo's background, and then Carly's telling him, "Oh, you gotta own that shit." And then,
I thought that was an intense scene.
Yeah.
And I like how even when Deadshot was supposed to shoot Harley Quinn, but he missed. Captain Boomerang gave him a look like,
man.
Oh, good. She's one of us. That you better not have shot her.
But before, if you also noticed, before he even did it, like when he was first doing it, he was like looking at him like, you piece of it.
She's one of us. Like she's one of me. I don't want to do
really,
it.
bro. Yeah. But it's like at that point they didn't really form that bond. The only two that kind of bonded was Harley and Deadshot, but like it seemed like toned down from what maybe it really was.
Right, you can tell that Will Smith and margotrobbie had good chemistry.
I'm gonna tell you this for the people also watching this. Watch the movie Focus. That was the first movie I seen of Margot Robbie. I think I even seen that before Wolf of Wall Street. And that was with Will Smith and her.
Yeah.
Their chemistry was so good that I remember the episode of The Boys when Butcher was like watching the TV and he saw Stormfront and Homelander and he's like, oh, they're fucking. Like when I watched, I was like, oh, they're fucking in real life.
Yeah.
Like that's how good their chemistry was. I really thought I was like, oh my god. That's why when I saw that he was casted.
You can really tell that Will Smith was hot to trot for Margot Robbie, and she was hot to trot for him. Too.
And then the thing is,
I don't know if they did anything, but you could tell they were hot for trot for each other.
Yeah. Like that was just like, oh, okay. Like we're both into each other. We're gonna do this scene together. Like let's go.
All right.
So then when I saw that they were Harley and Deadshot, because like I'm a Harley Quinn fan. Like as you can see from my shirt, I had to do it. I wasn't in frame, so I had to step up real quick. And I already knew that in the comics that they had a relationship after Joker. So
Right.
like while they're on the Suicide Squad, so I was like, oh, we're gonna see this. You kind of see it because they have enough chemistry between the two of them that like you could see it, but it's like there wasn't really that much to you like showing more than that. I don't know.
Right. Now I catch what like she wasn't exactly like leaning on him like
Because the whole time,
but she was like
because the whole time she was still strung up on Joker, and like they were in a relationship, unlike in the comics, to where he's more her property or just a weapon.
Right. Deadshot was looking at her like, oh girl, you don't know.
We should get into the Jared Leto thing because that's after the music. That's another everybody else's complaint. And I'm just gonna say this, like I told you a little bit earlier. When I first seen the picture of Jared Leto with like this with all the tattoos and the metal grill or whatever,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this looks stupid. But I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance because the last Joker was Heath Ledger, who is like I said, like so many people like him that it's a fact that he's the most the most liked.
Even if it's not your
Live-action
favorite,
Joker.
he's high up there.
And you respect what he did with it.
Yes.
He understood the character to the point where like he wasn't sitting in a makeup chair. He was doing the makeup himself.
Right.
And then
Getting into
the little lick on the side of his mouth was reworked into there because the prosthetics for the scars kept falling off. So like he was doing that to keep it up. So he made that into the.
and it worked so well somehow.
And then the best part is when they did the explosion scene. The detonator didn't work. You would think that like he was just, that was in the scene or something. He actually improvised that because I guess it was a toy house, a toy factory that was like going to be demolished anyway. So like they bought it out and then like he's going to blow it up for the scene. So he only had one shot at it. So he just like improvised and played it up and it was just so perfect. So I was like, all right, maybe we can get that out of
Jared
Leto.
Because he's like a method actor too. I've never seen too many bad Jared Leto movies. I'm not saying he's like an A+ actor, but
he's not Denzel.
Right, but he's definitely like B+, A- type of guy where I would trust a movie with him.
Side note, I do actually want to see him as Morbius. I think he'll play that way better.
Right, that I agree with. I had high hopes because I'm a Joker fan. And then I heard a theory that he was, maybe Jason Todd, and I was even like, I could live with that because maybe that explains the tattoos and the grill, and he became Jokerized, but he's really Jason. But it just didn't.
I didn't mind that theory too much.
Yeah, it just didn't click.
My thing was,
I don't know why it didn't click for me. I was disappointed.
I was actually seen him.
I even got the Funko over there too. That's how much I was hoping. Wasn't thinking it was going to be the best Joker interpretation ever, but I was like, this missed.
What missed with me is when I watched it, I was like, you know what? He wasn't on there that much because I don't remember one of my friends that I went with even said, he's like, I can't really judge it because he wasn't on there too much. I was like, but the things that his performance as the Joker, what we saw, wasn't that good. Remember, he's the one who said honka honka.
Right, like honka, like.
And honka, his laugh, I wasn't really into his laugh.
No, I think Jack Nicholson and I think Heath Ledger and Caesar.
Mark Hamill has
Mark
the best.
Hamill definitely had a better laugh. And even if you think about this actor who played Joker on some Birds of Prey television show for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He did more to impact the show than Jared Leto did.
Before people go in the comments and say about my other favorite Joker after Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill, of course, is the guy from Shameless, the redhead kid, when he was on Gotham. But not when they had the rights to finally use Joker's name on TV and they made him like really
he was
mellow.
pre-Joker.
Or whatever, like when there was the other guy, his twin brother, like when the original, but go watch the show, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
It's a good show, good show.
My thing about it is, when I watch Birds of Prey, we'll just say for example, the way they did Black Mask made me understand what they were going for better. They were going for like a flamboyant gangster.
Right, and Joker.
My favorite part of the Jared Leto one, I'm sorry to cut you off, I just have to say this, is when they went back down to Louisiana to go save Harley, which by the way, Joker wouldn't do that. He wouldn't even realize that she's gone. If anything, he'd go down to get her because he's like, what the hell is she doing down there? Let's go. Let's get her.
I made her swallow a diamond.
I need her to sneak into a vent or something. I don't even know.
Right.
It's something to lure out Batman.
yeah.
Anyway,
I tattooed the coordinates on her back.
Yeah. The guy who was in, we were talking about before, that I can't think of his name, that was in Mad TV, when like they get him.
The asshole guard.
Yeah. And Jared Leto goes up to him, puts the ring up, and he's like, and he just automatically kisses. He's like, I know you meant that. Like, that was Joker right there. I was like, if you gave me more of that, I would have liked you more. But you didn't do any of that. You didn't do that. You did honka honka. Why? I didn't even understand that scene.
And then the whole, tattooed hand.
That was actually kind of cool. I did like that.
I would get it in a way, but...
The thing is, if you're going to have a tattooed Joker, you might as well have, like, something... That was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
That was the coolest thing about that design, was that.
But, yeah, a lot of people are not happy with it.
And there is, in that universe, there is no reason that Joker is alive. If Joker and Harley Quinn killed Robin in it, like they said in Suicide Squad, this Batman would kill them. Because this Batman is basically the Punisher.
Yeah, Ben Affleck Batman is more of the hardcore...
He wouldn't have held back and just not... Because they said in continuity or whatever with the movie that he just punched his teeth out. And that's why he has the metal teeth. But that's not gonna work when I seen him just kill random henchmen with the thing on the docks. You know what I'm talking about? The big the packages on the docks.
Yeah, the crates.
The crates. Yeah, we've seen that. You would kill Joker for Robin.
Especially if it was Dick Grayson Robin, if you're assuming it.
Well, no, I think it was Tim Drake in this universe. I think Zack Snyder confirmed that.
It was Tim Drake Robin. But whichever one, he would definitely let Joker know how he felt about, I don't know, he would break his face.
Yeah, but Heath Ledger Joker, not Heath Ledger Joker,
Jared Leto
Joker. He was just a letdown in that movie. I don't know if it maybe is because of his cutscenes, but from what I saw in that movie, there was only really one scene. He said, "This bird is cooked." Oh, and I brought this nice little ditty right here.
Oh, yeah.
For one more thing that he said that, like, originally, I was like, oh, that's stupid. But it's a reference to something here. In the back of here, Harley's drinking grape soda. He says when he rescues her from, after he deactivates the bomb in her neck and everything, he goes, oh, I have some grape soda and a bearskin rug waiting for us. She's drinking grape soda here. I was like, oh, that's a nice little... I don't know if it was intentional, but I found this.
You know, and Sunkist, I will endorse your grape soda. Give us
a sponsorship.
Second. Yeah, give us a sponsorship. And
we're gonna go to part 2 because there's way more to be said. There's a lot to be said about this film. Masterpiece of entertainment.
What do we have here?
I did everything you said. I helped you.
You helped me by erasing my mind what unfaded memories I had. Oh. You left me in a black hole of rage and confusion. Without the medicine you practice, Dr. Quinzel...
What are you gonna do? You gonna kill me, Mr. J?
What? Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
You think so? Well, I can take it.
I wouldn't want you to break those perfect porcelain cap teeth when the juice hits your brain.
And now thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this channel. Not really, but hey, offers out there.
I'm just saying.
Now we're going back to our discussion on the Squad de la Suicide, Task Force X.
It's gonna give it to you.
Where I'm at. We're saying about how that was the first introduction of the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash.
Yes,
and the Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang flashback, who he's also an all-star in this movie.
He definitely, him and his pink unicorn definitely steal the show. And I'm glad that
he got those boomerangs. I just want him to be in every Flash movie as just like a nuisance. Like every not opening scene, but really early on, he's just like catching him. He's like, you again?
Yeah, it's like, come on.
And it would also tie into how, like in Birds of Prey, when she's in the police office, the police station, and then she like looks on the wall, and she sees his wanted poster. Like, hey, I know this guy.
Yes, he's just still wanted everywhere, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
good character. I loved his. He definitely was a character that I'm glad that was able to make it to the sequel there, or soft reboot, or whatever you want to call it at the moment.
Yeah, but some things I did want to talk about that we didn't really get into, that doesn't get talked about because this movie gets trashed a lot. Everybody's like, oh, it was a dumpster fire. Like, there was a lot. I felt like it was always like a stitched together collection of good scenes and bad scenes, because a really great scene, and it's one of my top maybe 10 comic book movie scenes, is when they're walking down the street and they first see the bubble monster things.
Yeah.
And that's when like Deadshot Harley defies a plan to kill all the soldier guys.
Yeah.
And then he looks through the scope and he's like, hey, what is that? And then he just starts gunning every single one of them down, and to the point where like all the army people put their guns down, because they're like, oh wow, yeah, he's like, look at me, I'm the captain now. Like, I could have took all of you out. Like, we had this plan. You're lucky that like we're freaked out by this thing. We want to see this thing through now.
Exactly. At some point, Deadshot was like, I'm gonna see this through. I did enjoy his interaction with Flag in the bar, because
all throughout it, I like their whole dick measuring contest pretty much.
And because at one point when Waller, who I think Viola Davis did a good job.
Oh, bang up job. She's an exceptional actress, and the thing that she doesn't get credit for is that she's like kind of like how you like the Nick Fury, like Samuel L. Jackson. How like, you know, you're just this great actress in her case. That's just like, I'm the serious person.
Right.
What I didn't like was that scene when she gunned down all the people who, when they added in that joke, like, oh, that is just a mean lady. Like, you can tell that was a rewrite. They could have just left it to where when she walked off and he looked at Flag and he's like, and you think I'm the bad guy. Right. It would have been so much better than just adding in that stupid joke that wasn't even good.
No, right, it wasn't necessary because her action spoke for itself.
Like, oh, I'm in charge now. You know, like, if you read comics or even watch the Justice League cartoon or anything like that, you know that she's like, she has so much power to where she could pull this off and where she can just kill people like with no questions asked, no paperwork being filed.
Exactly.
Like, it's off the books.
It's off the books type of situation, and I think that character did well. She did well to make me dislike her, definitely in the movie, which that was the point.
I was rooting for her.
You
know why? Because she was a black woman in power and she had everybody by the balls. She was a strong woman.
She was.
And you know what? She didn't have to like have people saying, hey, why don't you smile at me? And then like, you know, flipping them off. Like, oh, I beat up a Wonder Woman 84 when the guy who almost raped Barbara, and then she came back and kicked her ass. Like, no, it's just like, you just show like I'm a strong character.
Right.
Like, I am in charge here. Like, I am. Remember like when Harley was like, oh, are you the devil? And then freaking Rick Flag is like, this is the voice of God.
Right.
You were driving home that she is like a villain, but she's like, her villain is like how like somebody with power, like with corporate power, not corporate power,
real power.
Yeah, real power. You might have these magic powers. You might be a meta-human, but remember who's in charge, a human woman.
Right. Catch what you mean.
She was kind of like the president in Rick and Morty, like how how she knew about everything that was going on, except she wasn't a chump.
Yeah, she always has a plan for a plan outside of the plan.
Outside of the plan. And then I ripped up the plan, but I memorized it. But then I forgot it. I
am the plan.
It into one of my clones.
I am the plan. Great job by Viola Davis. She's
definitely
killer actress for sure. She.
Now on the other hand, when you had Cara Delevingne as Enchantress, I knew she was going to be the villain of the movie because in the promotional material she was in the shot with all of them, and so was Slipknot. But if you're watching the previews, she wasn't in there. Neither was Slipknot. Only in the one scene when she was in the pool with the pentagram thing in the background. Yeah. I think that has to do with the third act being changed.
Right.
Because that CGI was put in at the end, and that's why it looks so wonky. with like wacky inflatable arm thing or whatever.
Inflatable arm man there.
And her intentions, I didn't understand her intentions. Like, she came back and said, oh, they worship machines, so I'm gonna make a machine to destroy them because they don't worship me. Listen, you were back for like 5 minutes. Superman was getting worshipped, and you're an actual goddess, apparently. Like, they would have worshipped you.
Give anyone a chance.
You didn't give anyone a chance. And then, like, why were you killing them for? And then my thing is, too, like, stuff was being destroyed, but no other hero popped up. It's okay that they didn't, but, like, you make something on such a grand scale that they were in Metro City. Like, Metro City in DC Comics, or DC whatever, is a main city for, like, the Teen Titans, and, like, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and nobody popped up. I can understand that they didn't want to use them or whatever, like, that's fine, but I just kind of feel like if you're doing something that grand scale, somebody would have
Someone else would have came and said, and been like, what is going on here?
Like, hey, what's going on?
Constantine, even.
Yeah, because she's a magic thing. Why didn't, like, Constantine or Dr. Fate or anybody pop in?
Right.
It's just like with Doctor Strange with the whole WandaVision thing. Like, you should have popped in. Like, at least just say, hey, what's going on over here? Felt the surge of magic. Oh, you're
because
back.
they don't need no mans telling them what to do.
Yeah, I don't need no man telling me what to do, no mansplaining. Like, no, it's not even that. It's just like, it makes sense. But
I'm a strong, independent woman that enslaved the whole town and left. I don't need no man.
It's bad guys. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Also, another thing. This movie also had one of my second of 3 favorite elevator scenes in a comic book movie. When Harley fought the bubble monster and thing when she first got away,
Yeah.
and then that was a cool scene.
Yeah, that was good. I did enjoy that.
And then there was a lot of. This is the funny thing too. I like a lot of people say, "Oh, they over-sexualize Harley." Have you seen the new 52 Harley? She wears pretty much the same thing. Like she wears like a corset, like that's like
a
shows the
tight
midriff,
top
and like kind of
booty shorts.
Booty shorts. So and the thing is, what's the difference of that to when in Black Widow when they showed a lot of shots of Scarlett Johansson from behind?
Right, but
you don't talk about that. Why? Because it's Marvel and they can do no wrong. No, I'm just playing.
It's alright when Chris Hemsworth is walking around topless in his door.
Well,
Chris
yeah,
Evans
because
is
you know
Captain America.
they get jacked for that one scene when they had the shirt off.
But it's alright if they walk around half naked and be looked at as sex symbols by women and whoever.
Yeah,
but God forbid,
it's kind of a double standard. It is kind of a double standard.
God forbid we do it with a woman.
It is kind of, with a woman.
With a woman!
It's just like, it's so weird when people are like, oh, like when they're like with Captain Marvel, like, oh, it would have been better if it was a man. Like, alright, that movie had problems, but I'd rather, like, you're saying that you'd rather see a man walking around in tights than a woman?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't mean to sound like that because that's insinuating something that I'm not insinuating. It's just I like to see in comic books women are sexualized. Yes, you don't really have to do gratuitous shots of her from behind, but like sex sells.
For men to reach the perfection of Captain America and Thor
is unrealistic. He-Man started this.
Yeah, He-Man to look like
He-Man is worse than Barbie. All right.
We're supposed to be admire their actions. That's what we're trying to copy.
Oh, you know what, too? We have to go back to the bar scene real quick before we start to wrap this up, because I think we said a lot of what we need to say before we go into our final breakdown. The bar scene reminded me of the Breakfast Club scene when they were all, like, getting real with each other.
Yeah.
Like Daddy Bird's cigarettes on me. Like, that kid...
Mommy!
Didn't the skinny white boy, the nerdy kid, didn't he bring a gun to school?
A flare gun.
A flare gun, okay, all right.
Yeah, something like that.
That's still bad too.
And they're like, what are you gonna do?
You just got Saturday detention for that. You should have been expelled and like charged.
And nowadays, you'd be going.
If they made a new Breakfast Club, he would be a school shooter.
You'd be going to a mental institution. They'd be having 20 therapists talk to him.
They'd put him on so much medicine. It's not even funny.
For a flare gun.
Flare gun.
Forget about it.
Well, I mean, he was kind of crazy, though, because remember, he had a fake ID so he can go vote.
Yeah.
The one thing that made you cool, and you looked like a dork.
And the voting.
But anyway, as I was saying, this movie is very polarized. A lot of people said it was a dumpster fire. I really don't think it was. It was pretty enjoyable, because I watched it about 5 times now. And every time I watch it, I'm like, okay, that was a decent movie. Like, it wasn't, like, the greatest movie. It wasn't bad by how people say it. Like, it does need work. and all the music in it is annoying, and the Joker was a letdown. Third act could have been better.
But if you're going into it just as a run-of-the-mill
just want to watch a movie, that's fine.
It's fine.
Matter of fact, a couple weeks ago it was on TV, and I was like at home sick, and everybody else went out for the day. And I was flipping channels, and it came on. I was like, oh, I'll watch this. And I was like, throughout the whole thing, I was like, I'm not really bored.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. If you're going into it as a comic book fan, you're gonna be.
I don't know. If you're over.
If you're like really wanting things to be this way or that way.
Yeah. There's a lot more I could say about the movie. I can break down it a lot because there is a lot to inspect and unpack. But overall, I give it like a 6.
Yeah,
It's
I'm on the
definitely not as
same
bad
level,
as people said,
6.5.
I say a 6.
It's not a horrible movie, but
It's not a horrible movie, but it's not a great movie. Basically, Birds of Prey is a better version of this movie. If you want to see what the studio intended Suicide Squad to be, go watch Birds of Prey. And
we'll cover that too.
We're going to cover that too because I had to watch that right after I watched Suicide Squad because I'm like, hey, let's do it.
And I will say the Birds of Prey movie is better than...
Way better. But we'll get into that in another video because we're also going to do The Suicide Squad by James Gunn that's coming out this week. So we might as well do the 3 Harley arc. We figured that. We came to that decision.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next couple videos on Everybody's a Critic.
Yeah.
We're working on a couple other ones. If you're a fan of Lovecraft Country, we got that coming. Or if you're just curious about that show. Also Euphoria, I'm working on that one.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what's coming in the channel.
All right.
Stay tuned because we're giving away that piece of paper. Remember that Office episode when they did the job fair and they just brought a piece of paper? We're doing that. We're giving away that piece of paper, not that exact piece of paper, but like that brand piece of paper.
A similar
You're not gonna
piece
want
of
to miss
paper.
this. I'm gonna sign it as Michael Scott. It's not really Michael Scott, but people on eBay don't have to know that.
We don't need it to know that.
All right, what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Biggest boss and I've been a trillist. I'm a bigger problem when I click with Skrillex. Murder on my mind, it's time to pray to God. My revolver's not religious, the revolution's born. You wanna know my name, to go and tell us us. You wanna know my gang, Suicide Squad. Pistol on my waist, I might make a mistake. Deadshot, headshot, oh my God, am I crazy? Drugs every corner, this is Gotham City. Killer Croc came to kidnap you to cut out your kidney. Ain't no mercy, got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Rose, so she know that pussy worth it. Flooded Rolex at the Grammy Awards. They still selling dope, that's those Miami boys. Killers everywhere, it ain't no place to run. Forgive me for my wrongs, I have just begun. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Rose. Don't be begging for your life, cause that's a lost cause. High stakes, body armor, suicide, boy. It's the time for games and it's the time to kill. Make up your mind, baby, cause the time is here. Capital murder, capital letters. Yeah, she catching my vibe, but she can't fathom my cheddar. Need a couple gang members for these new endeavors. From this point on, anything we do together. Body on the corner, million in the trunk. 7 figures, I spend that every other month. Killers on the corner, talents in the clip. Build a palace out in Paris just to fill with bitches. Say my name and I'm coming with the gun squad. Everybody running, homie, is only one gun. Cocaine, white Ferrari, I'm in the fast lane. Every day was life and death, that's when the cash came. Count money, drug residue, even blood on it. He had it driving till I put my cuz on it. Kicking in the door, boy, the Suicide Squad. Needle in my arm, so I'm do or die for it. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini